HQ, Ryan Day and the Buckeyes at the podium.
Coach Day, how much of tonight is a reflection on what you were hoping to get when you brought Chip Kelly on?
Yeah, I thought Chip called a great game. I thought, the whole offensive staff worked hard to put the plan together, but ultimately it comes down to the players putting it on the field. I've said that all along. I think sometimes in this game, coaches get too much attention. This is about these guys right here. A lot of good plays out there, but they got to make it work. And I thought they really put it on the field, and it came out aggressive. But I thought Chip called an aggressive game, and certainly had a big smile on his face after.
Question in the front right there.
Hey, Ryan. Ari Wasserman on 3. You've been in a position in the last month that most coaches, maybe the first ever, where a large portion of the fan base has been displeased, and you guys had to come into a postseason under some tough circumstances. And I'm wondering, what's it been like for you through this journey, and how cathartic was it today to have the game that you guys had?
Well, in this game, there are ups and downs along the way, and when things are going good, you got to hug the guys you love the most, and when things aren't, you got to hug them even harder. And you just hang in there and you keep swinging. And, I talked to these guys about it a couple weeks ago. That's life. And this team is resilient. And when you surround yourself with great people, with great character, you find yourself working through difficult times. And at the end of the day, we wanted to win a national championship. And the way that we got here wasn't what we expected. It wasn't what we planned for. But nonetheless, we had an opportunity to come back and play Oregon after we'd already played them early in the season, and that's the only thing that mattered. And the guys have been doing a great job of staying focused. The staff has stuck together, but the players have stuck together, and they're fighting to continue to stay together because the winner gets to play together another week, the loser doesn't. So those guys have worked hard to stay together, and now we've got an opportunity to go play Texas, and a lot of football ahead of us.
We have a question from the front here. Nick, yep.
Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. First of all, to all of you, congratulations. Coach, just looking at the enormous impact that Jeremiah has had on this season, on your team, how would you say he mirrors somebody like a Marvin Harrison Jr., who you've seen as well to develop and be able to do great things?
I think we always want to draw comparisons because that's what we do naturally. I think whether it's players or coaches, it's easy for everyone to say, well, he's this person, and not quite put him in a box, but sort of categorize them based on somebody who's come before. And Jeremiah is his own person. I think that the way that he's come in from the get-go, he had a look in his eye that he wanted to make an impact as a freshman. And I think his teammates would tell you the same thing. And he's earned the respect of the teammates, not because of his ability. You guys see his ability, but to me, it's the work ethic every day. And he comes in, he's serious. He doesn't say a whole lot. But when he does, people listen. And his maturity, physically, emotionally, and mentally has allowed him to play like this. And remember, he's a freshman. And so for him to be playing his best football late in the season speaks to his maturity.
The next question comes from the middle right. Steve?
Congratulations, Coach Day. When Marcus Freeman was here after they played SC, I asked him, sometimes a defeat is the best thing that happens to a team. I know it's hard to say that when you lose to your rival, but are there some aspects of that loss that may have, in the end, where you're at right now, may have been the best thing for your team? I see you shaking your head no already.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say something like that. But I know that, you're a sum of your experiences. And this team has had great wins this season. It's had some tough losses. And, we have learned from those. And you got to grow and you got to build and you got to make sure you're, focusing on your strengths and making sure that, you understand what your weaknesses are. And I think that's a big part of it. But ultimately, it comes down to our guys. And I just keep going back to that because these guys are resilient, and we're at a place where you can hear a lot of noise, but they didn't do that. And I'm very, very proud of our staff. I'm very, very proud of our players, but we're far from done.
The next question comes from the second row.
Hey Ryan, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette. I asked you this a couple of weeks ago. You talked about playing free and without fear of consequences, and over these last 2 games, that would probably look like that's what that looks like. What's been the shift in that mindset? What have you done? What has the team done to allow that to happen? Has there been a focused effort on that, or is it just something that?
I don't know. You can talk to the players about it. I think all year, you make adjustments along the way, but we've really focused hard after the regular season on our execution. And I know that sounds really simple, but that's something that we talk a lot about in our walkthroughs, in our meetings. It might be practices, it might be a walkthrough in a hotel, it might be a meeting, and maybe just one little tip that could give you that little bit to say, hey man, like this is going to help you execute this play on this play, on this situation. And then you also have to be, situationally aware, which I think as the season's gone on, we've done a better job of that. And then the last piece is doing your job. Everybody has to do their job. Like, you take, for instance, the route that Jeremiah ran on the play where he stuck his foot in the ground and went across the field. It was a perfectly run route, but the protection was there. The setup by Will of getting the whole defense to run one way looked like it was a naked, and then we came back and threw the ball. Like, there's so much that goes into that one specific play, and I think that we've really focused on that part of it. And I think it's the same thing with the defense. I think that they all understand how they fit in with each other, and then it comes down to execution. But then when you mix that with after the snap is then snap, the physicality and how hard we're playing right now, I think those two things are the reason why you're seeing us play this type of football.
The next question comes from the middle left, in blue and white.
Luke Evans, Southern California News Group. Brian, there's been a lot of talk in your time at Ohio State just about this program's record and big games, the way that the last couple of years ended. Obviously, this program has bigger goals, but to win the last couple games and the way that you did, do you take any personal pride in that? For yourself as a coach, your journey.
Every game is big at Ohio State, and we know that when we came and when we decided to come to Ohio State, and certainly, this game is huge for a lot of reasons. But I think the most important for our team is that we had a chance to play together for another week. To me, that's the most important thing. Every game here is important, and so when you lose, you've got to figure out how to move forward. But when you recruit great people with high character who care about each other, when you go through difficult times, you stick together. You don't splinter. And again, that's why whenever we're in these situations, I just fall back on these guys right here. I mean, I wish you guys were asking these guys questions because they're the ones on the field. These guys are the ones who are playing, not me. I'm just there to direct them and make sure that we're all going in the right direction. These are the guys who are the warriors who are doing it on the field. And I just can't say enough about these guys.
Next question comes from the front row.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith, Cody Simon up there getting it done for the Buckeyes. And take a look at this. So Ohio State scored 40 points against Tennessee. In fact, they scored 42, and then they scored 41 in this game against Oregon. Hakeem, why is that significant? Why are you telling me that? Well, here's why I'm telling you that. Because, look at this. The last 3 teams to do this, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, they won the national championship. So Ohio State, they did it in 2014. That was the first year of the college football playoff, and they have now won back-to-back games, scoring 40 points. That means they're going to win it all. They did it before. The precedent has been set. Buckeyes win the Natty. Go ahead and get a ticket for Ohio State.